This is my channel, Cheap Jeep. About a year ago, I made a video about this Jeep. It was a slideshow. Today, I'm basically do the same thing because some of you guys have told me to make more videos. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to make a video about it. Talk about the lift, talk about the tires, and there's some other stuff that I've done to it. I can talk about that later. Just let me know in the comments if that's what you want. And if I get enough comments, I'll talk about some more stuff that I've done to it. But today we're going to talk about the lift and how much I paid for this thing. I paid $1,500 for this thing about 2 years ago, and it wasn't lifted or anything. It was all stock other than the tires. He had some all-terrain tires, and the rims that are on it were the rims that I bought it with. I lifted it 4.5 inches in the front, roughly around 4.5 to 5 inches in the back. I don't exactly know, but for the front, it was pretty simple. I bought three main things. I bought some 4.5 inch lifted coil springs from Rubicon Express. Those were $73 around Christmas time. They're on there right now for $90, but you normally catch them on sale around Christmas time. And then the sway bar end links, I had to get extended sway bar end links for a 4.5 inch lift. I got those from Rough Country for $69.95. And I also bought 4.5 inch lifted. For 4.5 inch lift, I bought extended brake lines from Rough Country for $55.95. None of that includes taxes or shipping. We'll get into that here in a minute. In the back, I've got two main things that I did. I've got a 3-inch lift. I made what they call a bastard pack for the leaf springs. I pieced 2 pairs of leaf springs together on each side to get 3 inches of lift. I re-arched my leaves basically. Those were $40 for a pair out of a junkyard. I got them off of a S10, like an older model square body S10. And those were $40 for the pair, like I said. I'll get into how I pieced those together here in a minute. I'll show you everything that I've done to it. Also in the back, in order to get 4.5 to 5 inches of lift, I got the 1.5 to 2 inch extended shackle for the leaf springs from Rough Country. Those were $49.95. None of that includes shipping or taxes. But in the lift itself, I've got $288.85 with shipping and taxes. I don't know exactly how much I spent, but I'm going to say roughly $300 to $400 in the lift kit alone. You could probably buy a 3-inch lift or 4.5 inch lift from Rough Country or whoever else for a little bit more than that. Just depends on your preference. I'm running the stock control arms in front, which is not really a good idea, but I did it anyways because I was trying to be cheap with this thing. It's the thing I built in high school. I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on it. But without further ado, I'll take the camera and I'll go under and show you a couple things that I've done and show you everything that I've put on it. And we'll talk a little bit more about how much I've spent on it. Alright, here I'm showing you the front end of my Jeep. I'm going to show you the coil springs and the sway bar end links and what I did with the track bar and the brake lines in order to get everything right for a 4.5 inch lift. Right here are the coil springs. I've got the same coil springs on each side. Like I said, those were $73 a piece. All I did was take the old ones out, put the new ones in. I'm running the stock control arms, upper and lower. So you're supposed to get longer ones. I didn't. I cheaped out. And they worked fine. Had no problems out of it. Right here is the sway bar end link, the extended one. It's got a pin in it right here that you can take out and disconnect all this. And up here on the frame, right here, you can kind of see that. That's where you connect it for when you're off-road. My track bar right here, when I lifted it, my axle was no longer centered. So in order to center it, I disconnected my track bar. You can see the old hole here. I disconnected my track bar and shook my Jeep back and forth and moved my steering wheel to recenter my axle. Re-drilled, put my track bar up, made a mark, and re-drilled my hole. And took the old bolt out, put it back through my new hole that I had drilled, and put my track bar back in, and that had recentered my axle. It's worked fine. Not had any problems out of it. It's not wobbling the hole out. Don't have any kind of death wobble or anything. The shocks, I forgot to mention this. The shocks that I have, they're from Rough Country as well. Give me a second and I'll show you over here. The shocks that I have are from Rough Country, front and rear. They were $39.95 a piece. You can do the math on that if you want to. Right here's the brake lines. They're extended from right here to here. Give you plenty of room to flex. That's pretty much it for the front. I'm running the same shocks on both sides, nothing fancy. And everything works. Alright, now I'm going to show you what I've done in the back for the suspension. Right here, I've got the 1.5 to 2 inch lifted leaf spring shackles. The top hole here gives you 1.5, and I've obviously got it in the bottom hole here. That gives you up to 2 inches. Right here is my leaf spring packs that I've got on both sides. And the way I achieved what I achieved, I bought them from an S10. You can tell by the flat leaf here on the bottom. I bought these off of an S10. I've got the complete S10 leaf spring pack, and right here is the top leaf of the S10. I cut the eyelets off and stuck the top Cherokee leaf from my old leaf spring pack. I stuck the top Cherokee leaf in this pack and rebent the clamps back, and it re-arched my top leaf, put my leaf spring back in place, and it gave me 3 inches of lift. And with the 2 inch lifted shackle, that brought me up to about 5 inches, leveled my vehicle out. I'm also running Rough Country shocks in the back. Those were $39.99 a piece as well. And if you come up here, I should have bought an extended brake line, but I did not. What I did here is I cut the bracket for my rear brake line and wired it up here. Eventually it'll probably rub a hole in it or something. Hasn't yet. Been running it like this for 2 years. Haven't had a problem out of it, but it gives me enough room to flex the rear end and not worry about busting my rubber brake line. One more thing that I'll talk about that I've done to this thing is right here. This is my transfer case. This is my drive shaft. It's sticking out quite a bit. But what I did is when I lifted it, had a lot of drive shaft vibration. It wobbled a lot, made a god-awful noise. So what I did to fix that, instead of buying a slip yoke eliminator or extending my drive shaft or something, what I did is I wanted to buy a transfer case drop. And what you do for that is all you do, this is the rear cross member for your transmission and your transfer case. You're just basically dropping it down. You're just putting a spacer in there. Well, instead of buying one off of Amazon or something for 30 bucks, I just made my own. I've got some inch and a half square tubing, and I bought some longer bolts. I had this stuff laying around in my garage, so I didn't have to pay anything for it. And all I did was drill a hole through the center of it, cut a little sliver of it off, and bought a longer bolt and put it through. The only thing I had to pay for was the bolts themselves. That's basically it. You guys might have noticed under the rear end, Jeep Cherokees did not come with disc brakes in the rear. I have disc brakes and calipers in the rear. I can tell you more about that in another video because it has a lot to do. There's a lot to do there. I'll tell you more about it in another video. Just let me know in the comments if you guys want to see anything like that. There it is, out in daylight. I thought I'd show you what it looks like. Nothing special. Needs a paint job, but who cares? It's an off-road vehicle. I used to drive this thing every day in high school. I used to keep it a lot nicer than when I keep it. But I bought another vehicle. I drive it every day to work in college. And this is just my play toy now. I have plans to get it back up and running. I've got a lot of things that I want to do to it. Depending on how much you guys like this channel and how much you show me your support, depends on how much I can really do to it. If you guys want videos, I'll make videos. I'll do anything. Right now, these videos are just going to be really simple because I'm not a video guy. I'm a mechanic. So I just kind of do things hands-on. I'm not really technical kind of guy, but you know, I'll get there eventually. I'll figure it out as I go. You guys just let me know in the comments section. Just blow it up. hit the thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever you got to do to let me know that you want me to make more videos of my Jeep. There's a lot more things that I want to do. I'm not just strictly a Jeep guy. This is what I started out with. I've got a wide variety of things that I like to do. So this channel might not be just limited to Jeeps. It might be limited to, it's unlimited what I can do. My imagination take me as far as I can. But enough about that. I'll talk a little bit more about the Jeep. Here it is, 32-inch tires, 4.5-inch lift all the way around. It's got a roof rack. Stock front bumper. I did an upgraded rear bumper. I made that. This thing's cheap, and it's been sitting for quite some time. I want to get back into it, and I want to start working on it again. But hence the name, Cheap Jeep. This is my cheap Jeep. I don't have a lot of money tied into it. I'll go over everything that I've done to it once again. Well, not everything. I'll go over the prices, and I'll give you the grand total of what I've probably spent on it. Just the lift and stuff, the roof rack, the engine work, and interior work, and some of the other cosmetic stuff that not everybody needs. I'm not going to include in my price. I'm just going to include the bare minimum, because anybody can do whatever they want, customize their own Jeep, spend however much money on their own Jeep, however they want to. That's what I've done with mine. Only thing I'm including in the final price: wheels, lift kit, the Jeep itself, and that's about it. Jeep itself, I've had it for 2 years. Cost me $1,500 when I bought it. The lift kit, front coil springs, sway bar end links, extended brake lines, and shocks all the way around. Forgot to include the shocks in the intro, but they were $39.99 a piece. I can't do the math of that in my head because I'm not that smart. But $39.99 a piece for the shocks. And then in the back, I did the bastard pack. That was $40 for the pair of leaf springs. The bastard pack is not really that complex. Some of you might want me to show you how I did that. Let me know. I'll go even more in depth in this lift kit process. I didn't really want to take the tires off this Jeep and do an elaborate video for the audience if they're not interested in it. So let me know if you're interested. I might even go more in depth in it. You never know. Transfer case drop was pretty much free, but it's roughly $5 to $15 for that. And then the wheels and tires were $550. So roughly, I've got $2,338.85 in the Jeep and the lift with the tires, not including tax. With tax, you're gonna have about $2,500 to $3,000 in the Jeep. You cannot go out and buy a 97 and up, 95, whatever Jeep Cherokee with a 3-inch lift on it, 31-inch tires, your bare minimum of what you're going to do to a Jeep for less than $3,000. I've got 4.5-inch lift on 32s, 95 Jeep Cherokee for under $3,000. You can achieve the same thing. But guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Let me know what else you want to see. Leave it in the comments. Blow it up, like it up, subscribe it up. Let me know what you want, and I'll make more videos for you guys. But until next time, keep it cheap, keep it fun. I'll see y'all in the next one.